Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm all set to count down the 40 most played country records in the USA, compiled by MediaBase 24/7 for the chart week of October 18th, 2025. Before I get started counting down this week's biggest hits, let's take a look back at last week's top three. Number 3 was I Got Better by Morgan Wallen. Number 2 was Bottle Rockets by Scotty McCreery and Hootie and the Blowfish. And the number 1 song last week was Heart of Stone by Jelly Roll. Now, will there be a Rolling Stone at number 1 again this week? Let's find out starting right now. Alright, here's the first of the 40 biggest hits from Vincent Mason as he slips back a notch to number 40, called Wish You Well. At number 39, moving up one, it's Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll with Hard Fought Hallelujah. Down 2 spots from 36 to number 38, Tim McGraw and Parker McCollum with Paper Umbrellas. Up 1 to 37, Cody Johnson with The Fall. At number 36, up a notch, Ty Myers with Ends of the Earth. Well, we have one debut on the chart this week, and here it is, coming in at number 35. It's the new one from Thomas Rhett, joined by Jordan Davis, called Ain't a Bad Life. When that one debut, we say goodbye to One Dropper, and that's You Had to Be There by Megan Maroney and Kenny Chesney. On with the countdown, here's Chris Janson, up a notch to number 34, Me and a Beer. Up 1 to number 33, Chris Young with Till the Last One Dies. Up a notch to number 32, Preston Cooper and Weak. Holding steady at number 31, Miranda Lambert and Chris Stapleton with A Song to Sing. In his 30th week in the countdown, he holds at number 30, Ernest with What If I Could. Holding steady at number 29, Megan Patrick, called Golden Child. Holding steady at number 28, Max McNown with Better Me For You. Holding steady at number 27, it's Dylan Scott with What He'll Never Have. At number 26 again this week, Jason Aldean and How Far Does a Goodbye Go. At number 25 for a second week, it's Justin Moore, called Time's Ticking. At number 24 for a second week, it's Rascal Flatts with the Jonas Brothers and I Dare You. Slipping back 1 to number 23, Blake Shelton, called Stay Country or Die Trying. Falling back 3 spots from 19 to 22, it's Keith Urban, called Straight Line. At number 21, up 2 spots, it's Hardy, and Favorite Country Song. In just her 9th week in the countdown, she's up a notch to number 20, Megan Maroney, and 6 months later. At number 19, up a notch, George Bird's It Won't Be Long. Falling back 3 spots from 15 to number 18, it's Hudson Westbrook and House Again. At number 17, up a notch, Riley Green and Ella Langley with Don't Mind If I Do. At number 16, for the 4th week, Zach Top, Good Times and Tan Lines. Up 2 spots to number 15, it's Parmalee with Cowgirl. And at number 14 again this week, it's Tucker Wetmore, called 3-2-1. Falling back a notch to 13, it's Parker McCollum with What Kind of Man. Trading places with Parker, moving up 1 to number 12. It's Eric Church with Hands of Time. And the number 11 spot again this week, it's Lainey Wilson with Somewhere Over Laredo. Well, the first of the 10 biggest hits, here's Thomas Rhett, slipping a notch to number 10 with his recent number 1 hit after all the bars are closed. At number 9, up a notch, it's Jackson Dean. The song has been on the chart the longest at 45 weeks, Heavens to Betsy. Holding steady at number 8 with his former number 1, it's Shabuzi in Good News. Down 5 spots to number 7 with his former number 1, Scotty McCreery with Hootie and the Blowfish and Bottle Rockets. At number 6 is Russell Dickerson with his recent number 1 hit, Happened to Me. And at number 5 again this week, it's Luke Combs with Back in the Saddle. Leaping 2 spots to number 4, it's Chase Matthew and Darlin'. Last week's number 1 falls to number 3 this week, Jelly Roll with Heart of Stone. The number 2 song in the nation this week, up a notch, here's Morgan Wallen with I Got Better. And the new number 1 song in country music this week, taking 27 weeks to get here, moving from number 4 last week to number 1 as he scores his 9th number 1 hit. It's Jordan Davis with Bar None. And that is our countdown of the 40 most played country records in the USA. Join me again next time. Once again, we'll count them down and we'll find out who's got the number 1 song in country music. Thanks for listening.